Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton have made a signing. They have signed Ben Godfrey from Norwich City. Baz has joined me all the way from Goodison Park.
I've just seen Godfrey jogging around there. Just wanted to see what he was looking
Are
like.
you at Goodison to compete in some kind of esports event, by the way?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Best PES player.
Ben Godfrey, this has happened quite rapidly, hasn't it? We know we've been touted them a couple of days, ago. But Everton seemed like they really wanted this player. They'd had a bid knocked back, and then suddenly they'd had a bid accepted, and this has happened really quickly. We'd been linked with bringing, players in on loan and players from abroad, but Everton must really want this player to go after him so quickly.
Yeah, obviously Everton have been looking for a centre back, haven't they? Since early in the year, it seemed like the Gabriel stuff was January, I think February. So it was clear Everton wanted a centre back. That obviously didn't happen due to COVID and whatever else, changing the way the payments were or whatever. And Everton moved away from that, and then I think Everton decided maybe to just pursue a loan deal for a centre back while we assessed Jared Branthwaite's development or whatever. And Fikayo Tomori was quickly identified as the man they wanted, and that looked like it was going to happen. Now Chelsea did what they did last season really, and the deal wasn't able to get done. We received encouragement. The lad wanted to come, and Chelsea seemed to have changed their mind on it, which they're entitled to do, of course they are. And it now looks like Rodriguez is going to go out to their centre back. So Everton have then had to identify next. And I think Ben Godfrey will have been on Everton's list anyway. You don't just look for someone that last minute and get it done quickly. So obviously Godfrey was one of the ones they'd looked at. Others have been talked about. Jean-Claire Todibo, who's at Barca, of course, was strongly linked. But Everton feel as though this kid is the man to make an investment on. He's 22. 23 in January, and therefore, he's strong, athletic, good in the air, good passer at the ball, likes a tackle. English centre back, play for the 21s, the England under 21s. So, Everton have identified a good young player who's also, played in midfield, defensive midfield for Shrewsbury, and they've decided he's the one to go for, and have got the deal done.
Yeah, I think the plus points are clearly, like you've just mentioned there, he's a young lad, physically, he looks up to it. We've seen the players so far who've been in the squad this season, the players who've been involved and the players who may not have been, who haven't been involved, like Tom Davis. They all very much seem to fit a physical profile, and this lad comes in as well, and he's had that year. He looks very fast, and there's a video going around of him on social media of him getting back in one game, and the speed he gets back is just incredible, and that's obviously something we're lacking at the moment, that kind of pace at the back, that to help us play higher up the pitch and someone to get us out of a little bit of trouble. But also, you mentioned he can play centre midfield as well, and we spoke up a few times during the summer about bringing players in and what age they have to be, and the idea of bringing in someone like Allan who's 29, some people would frown upon that, but if you're bringing someone at this age that you can teach how to play in both positions, that's a massive asset to the club. And if they can have a player like that, and it means that you can get rid of a couple of players because you've got one who can fill both roles, and you've got other good players in the squad, and that can only help us going forward, can't it? It's it's such an important thing at the moment, is cutting down this squad, getting rid of players that are not needed. So to have a player of that age who can fill in those roles, and hopefully can build into that one of the roles more firmly going forward. But to have someone right now who's got that Premier League experience, it just seems huge to me that we're doing it on a twin track.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spoke about this with Andy, didn't we? When we were bringing in players over a certain age, it's fine, and it's worked brilliantly for us so far. Let's be honest, the three of them have been our three top performers, really, along with Dom and with Richarlison so far. So that's worked brilliantly. But if you bring in those younger players as well at the same time, it alleviates any kind of pressure on that and takes away that worry that you're building an older squad, and this is a kid who is big and strong, like I said, but is very mobile, so he can do the two roles. Yet he may feel like he's better at centre back, and that's what he wants to concentrate on. But then we've got that with Mason Holgate, haven't we? We spoke about Holgate before, dropping into that midfield area if need be. And it enables that what we've spoke about regularly, Ped, is that, 31 pros, 32 with Godfrey, you're trying to cut those numbers right down. And if Carlo Ancelotti can cut them down because this kid does the job of two, then that's exactly what you want, because A, it helps you keep a harmonious squad, and B, you've got a player who is versatile, and that's what you always need. You always need versatility in a squad, because working with a smaller squad, like I've just said, keeps everyone together. And just from a financial aspect, you're paying one fella to do two jobs as opposed to two,
Yeah,
and I guess that's just basic finance, basic economics.
Yeah.
I know. Really, if you can do it.
And also, you're paying someone at that age, you're probably going to get them for less of a fee than someone who's at, less of a wage than someone who's at 27, 28. You've got someone you can tie down, you're tying them down, and actually you're tying them down for the best part of the career, not the latter part of the career. So that's a huge part as well. And also it gives us options. I know a lot of people, you mentioned before with Tomori and so about the loan deal, a lot of people thought we would go for a loan deal because we do have, 3 senior centre-backs. We do have Banthwaite, we do have Lewis Gibson on loan. All the young players seem like good prospects going forward. But then at the end of the season, you've got a situation where you've got Yerry Mina with 2 years left of his contract. Does he sign a new one, or do Everton look to offload him at an age where he can still make a decent price on him? So the Everton have got to consider all those factors, haven't they? I know Michael Keane's just signed a new contract as well. So, but you've got to look at all the angles, haven't you, and not leave it to the last minute. And I know early on in the season, early on summer when we were after Gabriel, a lot of people questioning why we went for Gabriel. Then a lot of people questioning why we left the Gabriel deal. And it does seem kind of strange that we're paying around the same amount of money that we would have paid for Gabriel. Can you see any rhyme or reason why Everton haven't gone for Gabriel and yet have gone for this kid?
I guess it all depends on money at the time, doesn't it? Maybe Everton, the purse strings have been released a little bit just because of the slight changes in the reporting year. Maybe Norwich are happy to take, I don't know, payments, repayments of much less than what Lille wanted for Gabriel. Maybe it's that kind of stuff. Maybe Lille wanted, a big lump up front, and Everton were trying to get other deals done. I don't know. It's the reality of that. Everton clearly stepped away from a deal because they felt as though maybe Lille were baiting other clubs into it. So I don't really know, to be honest.
And ultimately, when we were going for Gabriel, he wasn't a high priority, because we're talking about centre-backs being high priorities, because we thought midfield was. Now we've got midfield sorted, like you just said there. Maybe we got the players we wanted to get for less money than we thought we were going to get them for. So that's opened it up a little bit. And who knows what's going to happen over the next few days. There's talk already of players leaving, and I'm sure some will. And this might open the door. I don't know. Personally, I sort of think this could be the thing that sees Tom Davies leave the club if this kid can play centre midfield right now. Listen, we'll wait and see whether that happens, but like we've already said, he can play a couple of positions, and that might mean someone in midfield gets released and we make a little bit of money on him and get half of the money we're paying for this kid back in one go.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they've got to consider, every angle, haven't they? And this fella's 23 in January, so he's at a great age, like I said, being capped at under 20, England under 21. You'd look at the physicality of him, the athleticism of him, and think that if he does well, he'll be capped at that full level as well, which all boosts it. And Everton have got to look at trimming that squad. We know they have, and that's, bringing a player in who can do a couple of jobs. That's what it does. But it also sends a message out of a profile of a player that Everton wants and Everton are looking at, and it's the right kind of profile, that athleticness that we bemoaned almost in the past that Everton haven't had. you now look at the likes of Abdoulaye Doucoure, you look at this fella, you're looking at Holgate, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. They're all that profile of athletic lads who can get up and down the pitch and work hard. And we saw it last year. The lack of athleticism in Everton's squad, particularly in the midfield, was something that cost us dearly. And Carlo Ancelotti's come in and spoke about it from almost day one, really, about addressing the need for that, and he's done it. And listen, Everton, I think Everton have done fantastic business this summer. I really do. Yeah, I really do. It looks really good. And you mentioned something that was really important there. We've got players in without spending the money. We just learned a few weeks ago that James Rodriguez didn't cost a penny. Now, okay, wages are bigger than people have reported, and of course he'll cost money in a different way. But rather than an outlay of 20 million, 25 million for this player in that position, we're just talking about covering his wages. So that money then, doing it the way we do it without any financial knowledge really, is, well, we haven't spent that 20 million on him, so we can spend it on him. And maybe, you're right, maybe they'd had money stocked up. I mean, there'll be a couple of people who are fuming that Everton have bought someone else today without selling.
Stop it.
But no, I'm talking about, we've seen it with the Echo. Remember the Echo come out and said Everton not buying anybody. It's all, so obviously the club are doing it a particular way. And will obviously be backing themselves to get players out the door maybe before the end of the reporting year next year. But for me, I think it's a fantastic piece of business, especially with obviously the likes of Niels Nkounkou as well, who's come in and looked excellently. So Everton have done very, very well this summer with recruitment.
Do you think, just before we finish, do you think this could see Jarrad Branthwaite maybe move after the deadline on Monday, maybe go to a Championship club, possibly Norwich? If they've talked about that, could you see him going somewhere for the rest of the season just because we don't really need him as much now?
Yeah, I do. Whether or not it happens in this window, and by this window I mean right up until I think it's the 19th of October when the domestic window shuts. I think he's still 2 weeks away from playing, so Everton, might want to keep him for that. But I think really, if he doesn't go in this window, I think he'll definitely go in January, because it makes no sense really keeping him at the club without giving him games. He's played 4 Premier League games. He's played only half an hour. He lasted against Salford before picking up his injury, but in general he's played games. He's trained with the first team, and his development at 19 means more games. And I know it has been muted with not muted, we didn't make him quiet, it has muted with a move maybe to Norwich City on loan, and I think that'd be a really good move for him, because I think playing in the Championship, playing centre back, left foot, get that grounding of playing at a club who you'd like to think are going to be pushing for promotion, and just give him that football and education for the season. Then we can make a better decision next summer of where he is in his development, rather than just keeping him around the first team just in case we need him. Yeah.
Listen, if you want to know more about Ben Godfrey, Baz spoke to Jack Reeve from Talk Norwich City. Make sure you check that video out. You get everything you need to know from the Norwich point of view. Jack was fantastic in telling us exactly what this player is like and how he's progressed so far. So make sure you check that video out as well. You'll find out everything you need to know. But another player in for Everton, will he be more before Monday's deadline, or even the deadline on the 19th? We'll have to wait and see. You'll find out here first on Toffee TV. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want more great videos, join us on Patreon, where we do daily live videos, where if there is breaking news, that's where it breaks. Thanks for watching. See you later.